Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Fem Forward. I am your host for today, Emerald Tejas. And today I have with me a very, very special and lovely guest,
Kristin Blandon.
Woo! Okay, so Kristin, tell us a little bit more about yourself. You were actually a former student here at Young Women's Prep. You were a lady monarch. So tell us more about your journey here at the school. What were your initial thoughts about coming to an all-girls school? How did you get here?
I had an older sister who came here. So she started since 7th grade. And then from her, my mom, we're 3 girls. I have 2 sisters and I'm in the middle. So the 3 of us, we got into the school. So that's how most of our teachers remember us. So my experience at the school, well, quite frankly, it was pretty daunting, especially for the fact it being a small school. I was still very worried, mostly about what people thought about me. Also, I was very quiet. I did not talk as much as I used to talk as how I am right now. And my confidence level was completely different as to what it is right now. Yeah, there was a lot of changes as to how I was before. So, but I could say there were many good memories apart from, the difficult experiences. The difference between when I left from elementary school to Young Women's, being in an all-girls environment, is that, number one, it's just all girls. It wasn't really like a shock, like a culture shock for me. I was just like, okay. It didn't really bother me. But I think I liked it because it really challenged me. But I was still kind of nervous of the whole process.
Fun fact, I actually came to this school because of Kristin and her older sister and her younger sister. So it was just like bam, bam, bam. So it was a difficult change, I may say, but you were already prepared, like in terms of reading. How about math, science? We take biology in 8th grade, so a lot of schools don't actually do that. How was that for you?
Well, I did a horrible job. I did not do good in math nor I was average. Okay. I was like a B, C, D, F student to be honest with you. I had to retake Algebra 1, Algebra 2. I had to retake the EOC probably 3 times, and then on the 4th one, I finally passed it. It was actually a struggle, mostly because I was too afraid to ask for help, which was kind of sad. I wish I was more outspoken how I am right now. Miss Syed's class was kind of a challenge for me too, especially for AP Bio. But now looking back, I was like, wow, I was just too afraid to ask for help because I was really intimidated by looking in different ways, seeing the other girls wow, they're doing a whole lot better than me. I'm like, yeah, I'm not capable to do this, but you know what, I'm gonna just stick through it and just do it. But that wasn't the right mentality. I think I should have just asked for help more.
That's really, really important, guys. Like we've mentioned before, you always reach out. You can always reach out to your teachers. Everything will pass. Even if you think something embarrassing is going to happen with the teachers, trust me, it'll just be a funny moment.
Oh, yeah, it will.
Yeah.
It will. That was one thing. I was like, I always thought, oh my God, what are people going to think about me? I'm going to be so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed about this. And and then it's not that deep. People are more worried about themselves, like how I am. And they're not really paying attention to what I'm doing.
Yeah, we live in a very individualistic society nowadays.
Yeah.
Okay. How was that transition into high school then? Were you still the same shy person you were in 6th grade?
A little bit. But then I think when I went into junior year, I had that reality check when they started giving us advice about college and dual enrollment. We had a high school student talk about dual enrollment, and I was like, wow, I really want to do that. And I don't know what clicked in my head, but I just knew. I was like, okay, we gotta get it together, and whatever we need to do, we're gonna get into dual enrollment. After leaving the school, at the end of the day, I always try to remember to myself, I am capable of doing, whatever I want to achieve.
That's amazing that you came to that realization. And like we've mentioned before, some people may feel pressured by others, like parents, family, friends, and their surroundings because they feel like they have to have their life completely figured out. And in junior year, you kind of had like this epiphany, right? You're like, hey, there's still time, and I could boost my GPA for senior year. Were you involved in any clubs here at the school?
Yeah, I was. I was part of Key Club. I was part of the Spanish Honor Society, Women's Engineer, the Society of Women's Engineer. I try to get myself involved a lot in junior year.
Oh, that's great that you were able to really branch out. I know that you were also a very artistic person.
Yes.
She was super good at drawing and art, guys.
Like the summer of senior year and my freshman year of college is that I opened a little art business, and like I made like t-shirts. I did like portraits. I did landscapes, like more like the nature, the flowers. Well, it took my mind off of like my responsibilities that I had, other than studying and like organizing myself for my following semester, for like a test that I had. I was like, okay, we need to take a break.
What were you a part of, like from 6th to high school, at your church, and how did you balance church and school?
From 6th grade, I would say I was like, we have like a youth group, and from there we learned how to create programs. We learned about community service, preparing like little sandwiches and things like that. And then we had like a boy Girl Scouts called Pathfinders too. And I think there we did like a lot of a lot of camping competitions. I was also like in drumline, like playing drums. So like my mom, she really encouraged my sisters and I to be part of everything, to like explore, experience, sense like what the world has to offer for us. And through church, we kind of like, through those activities, we learned a lot of like things, like of those kinds of things, and also in school too. But I think that as I got older allowed me to be more confident and more outspoken, and it showed me like some of the things that I had as my purpose for my future. So I realized as I got older that I love to talk to people. I love engaging with young girls. I love giving advice, especially for college, scholarships, community service. I could talk for hours.
Because she knows me since I was like in the womb, like since before time. And she was actually, Kristin was always my role model when it came to managing extracurriculars and school, because she was so kind, compassionate to everyone.
A lot of memories were made, especially like going to different states. Just looking back at the experiences and the memories, they're very wholesome.
They are. And even when you guys feel like you aren't doing well in one area, and there's like a very niche thing that you like to do, and you're like, hey, I'm good at it, go for it. Like literally just go for it, right?
Yeah.
Go for it, because you never know when it might help you or benefit you in the future. So yeah, that's great. Nowadays, what do you do at church? Because she's a leader for a lot of things, and tell us more.
But now I'm more of like the leadership team, where we do where we plan activities for high school and middle school students, and we try to place these kids in leadership positions, and we teach them how to like be involved in these roles. And that's where I learned a lot about leadership, in a sense where, you know, you have to organize yourself, talk, call, text constantly. But I don't know, you learn as you go. You learn through experiences and mistakes. I learned a lot about not procrastinating.
It's really kind of like a full circle moment, right?
Yeah.
You're doing all these amazing, wonderful things. Well, we haven't talked about your senior year, and what colleges you applied to. How was that whole experience for you in terms of scholarships and stuff like that?
Junior and senior year, when I had that switch, and a lot of the a lot of the students were like, Kristin, what happened? Like, you just, like, there was like a switch. And I was like, guys, I do not know. Like, it just happened. And I was just like, oh, okay. One thing I really gotta say is thank you to Ms. Burrows, because she gave us like a video, like a motivational video. And she also had like this like message on her clock about how time is gonna pass. And it's like, time will pass. Will you pass? Like, that was like a reality check for me. And I was like, that's so true. Time's gonna pass regardless. So like, it's sink or swim. I need to make the best out of it. And I didn't tell anybody like what I was doing. I just started applying to those scholarships. And then it was until like, you're preparing for the harvest per se. And then like towards senior year, like when I applied to those scholarships, the scholarships were coming in. And
what scholarships did you get senior year?
Scholarships, I got the Girl Talk 1-on-1 scholarship.
Oh.
I got a full ride to Barry University, the McDonald's scholarship. I got the Miami Bayside Foundation scholarship, the Youth Fair Foundation one. But those were like the main ones that I remember that I got.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And how was that whole process for you? I don't know if you applied to any other colleges. Like, I know the college application process has a lot of bumps and roads, like highs and lows. How was it for you?
For me, I decided to stay locally, so I didn't, which I wish I challenged myself and like pushed myself a little forward to like apply to maybe like a school that I could, yes or no, like I could probably reach it, but I'm not sure that I probably needed to work a little extra harder. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stay here locally. And I went to my mom's university, which is Barry. I went there for my first 2 years and it was pretty good. I liked it because I was able to do like art there. I did like my basic prerequisite classes and a couple of like science classes that applied to like my nursing degree. So I just chose to stay locally, and I applied to FIU, to Barry, the Miami-Dade Honors. I also applied to FSU too, but yeah.
Going to college in your home city and out of state, it really depends on you. Don't feel pressured.
Yeah, don't feel pressured
to go anywhere else. You mentioned that you're finally a nurse.
Yes.
What made you want to become a nurse so early on?
Well, I've always loved talking with people and engaging with like students, with kids, and with adults, just people in general. I just love engaging with the community. I love my older sister as well. She's a nurse, so she like would tell me about her experiences, and I'm like, wow, I would love to do that when I'm older, like when like in the future, like do the things that she's telling me, like like going to see open heart surgery, or taking care of like a sick patient and knowing about all these medications. Like she would say, like, start spitting out all these like names, and I'm just like, what is this language? I'm like, I want to know. So yeah, mostly community service, people, knowing about medications, and just helping people in general.
Yeah, the medical field is very hard. I mean, you're dealing with people's lives. So where did you transfer to?
It's very popular in like hospitals. It's called West Coast University. So you might have seen it in like a billboard or like a bus ad, but at first I was kind of skeptical about it. I was like,
yeah,
like those kind of schools that you see like on a billboard or a bus on what. But then I looked into it, and it was actually legitimate, and they were the real deal. And I also like talked to other nurses and other nursing students who've been through that school, and they're like, yeah, Kristin, apply, go there. And like it was like family friends who went to that school. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And if I don't like it, I'll just go to another school. Because I did try to go to FIU, Miami-Dade, like the local schools, but there was a huge waiting list, and I probably still would have not graduated. They told me that I probably would have graduated in 2026, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. So then I chose that school, and I was like, well, okay, here we go, let's do it. So yeah.
It was great.